Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the All You Can Talk podcast. I am today joined by my sexy co-host, as always, Mr. Reese Morgan.
I'm my best behaviour this one.
I'm Key5, also known as Kieran. You can find us at Instagram at AYCTofficial. You can also find us at that on TikTok and wherever else you find your shit. Subscribe to us on YouTube, leave a like below, it really helps. Let us know how much of a dick we're being this podcast in the comments as well. I know you TikTok guys love to do that. And yeah, so how are we doing today, Reese?
I'm wonderful, mate.
You wonderful?
I'm absolutely wonderful.
Good
We're we're all right, aren't we? We're living the dream, as I always say.
Good man.
Living the dream, moving forward, getting things done.
Yep.
Living life. I had good feedback from my boss at the minute, my new gaffer, for 6 month reviews. That were bang on.
No, good.
Oh mate, I'm just living a good life.
Good man.
Working hard.
Good man. Ah,
Tired.
good to see.
Can you tell?
That's the side effect, isn't it? That's the side effect.
Yeah,
that's the price we pay.
I woke up this morning, and you know when you look at your alarm clock and you go, it just don't feel like 2 minutes, and you're just like, you know. But little known fact, do you know 20 grams of creatine can make you feel like you're on fire? Yeah, I tried it this morning. Felt mint.
Oh, right, I thought you meant actually on fire.
Nah, I'm just going to internally combust. Brings an all new meaning to sex on fire, doesn't it, mate?
It does.
How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Yeah, a lot of good things have been happening recently. We had the Rhythm and Bars 2 show. That was last week. That was.
I'm so gutted I couldn't make that.
Yeah,
I'm so gutted.
We've got another one coming up.
Yeah, I might perform on that one. Oh yeah, I'm joking.
Not
Not yet. We should.
Do
Do you remember that little garden party we had with that song? Is that still live on YouTube?
Jordan's, yeah.
That was epic. That.
We're actually thinking of having a party at mine for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a garden party. So we might have a look into that. But yeah, things have been good. Also announced I'm River and Bars. My show is going to be headlining Barnsley Live this year at Secret, which is fucking unreal. Your boys single-handedly managed to turn a rock festival into having rap and R&B as the headline in 3 years. So, you know, kudos to myself for that.
Yeah, I think I can remember headlining Barnsley Live at it weren't Jocks, it was Pub Under Jocks. Mate, fucking rammed front to back. And I can remember we played Zombie. My days. When people front to back are chanting a song, and I can remember a gig we did, and this were in Killers and Kings, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a month before I left. So you can imagine. Shit. But I remember they chanted his own song back to us, and I was just like, that is fucking mint.
Awesome feeling, isn't it?
And then I left.
Awesome feeling. Same happened at this last show. Like, I was performing tunes and people are singing them back to me, and I'm like, this is mental. This is crazy. It's like
absolutely mental.
It's mental, man. But yes, today what we are going to do is today what we're going to do, because it's June, we are going to do
Pride Month.
No. That's actually a good point. Because it's Pride Month, we feel that one thing in particular is overlooked, and that is that June is also Men's Mental Health Month. Now, it doesn't get the publicity, it doesn't get the front page news, because obviously it's Pride Month. We have no disrespect towards that.
I do.
We just... Yeah.
No, boys. And I'll tell you what, I've actually got a beautiful, well, not a beautiful reason, you're going to come at me, but I've actually got a reason why. 90% of people in this country now don't care if you are gay. Yeah. Now, I spoke to a girl about 7 years ago, and I asked her why pride were a thing. Like, why is it a thing? Nobody cares anymore. And she says, it's just to celebrate what we are. And I'm like, I get it, but do you really need a fucking month?
Yeah, a month's a long time.
I get a grip. Like, a month is month.
That might be a bit contradictory to what we're about to say. It's Men's Mental Health Month. No, we're like, yeah, we need a full month for us men's health.
Yeah, we'll talk about men's suicide rates.
Yeah.
Let's fucking talk about that.
Let's go a bit light first.
Fucking Jesus. Let's not do it. Nah.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to get into that.
it is Men's Mental Health Month, so we felt like today should be a little bit of a special. We're going to talk about our own experiences. We're going to talk about where you guys can get help, how we feel like, because we have both. I think Reese is fine with me saying this, and we've both suffered with our mental health in the past, and we've both overcome various battles in that sense, and we feel like what we've been through can help you guys out. If there's somebody behind this camera, behind this video looking, listen, maybe we'll be able to offer you some light relief. Maybe we'll be able to offer you a solution. Who knows? So yes. So I want to ask you first, actually. So, what has been your experience as a man with your mental health? Because there's a lot of stigma around it. There's a lot of stigma around sort of us being, and we all do this as well. Like, suck it up, be a man, do what you got to do. But how personally did it affect you in them times when? I know you've spoke about that. I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but...
Not as deep as I think you're thinking.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that on that. But I think the main thing is you've got to have a good... to recover, especially, is to have a good system behind you. And what I mean by system is... I won't say a support system, but like a good set of people around you. And I know that a lot of people are going to come saying, oh, you've got to focus on yourself with your mental health. I get it. But without a good system, you're not really going to get it as such. I know it sounds contradictory because you have got to focus on yourself and get yourself out of it. But having people there also helps.
Yeah.
And I think that do something you enjoy first and foremost. So, for example, have a good job that treats you well.
Yeah.
Some news coming that soon. It is in regards to mental health as well, because that destroyed me. But I think train hard. You aren't going to mentally, but physically helps.
Physically helps massively.
Yeah, fitness.
It's actually scientifically proven that if you go to the gym, if you work out, the endorphins that doing physical activity it helps your brain in a massively positive way. Plus, when you look in the mirror and you see yourself looking better, it also really helps.
Yeah. No, I always say that. I think since I've been going to the gym for the last 6 months and 7 months, I've been before, but it didn't really feel good because I had a shit job and just didn't enjoy life in general. Well, I did enjoy life, but not in general terms. But you've always got to realise that, put it this way, God opens your wounds to reveal his true intentions. That's what I always say. That's my thoughts now.
Romans 8:18, the pain you're feeling right now is nothing compared to the joy you will feel.
Exactly. And that's how I'm feeling. And it's always going to get easier. It's always going to get better. Never gets easier. It's always going to get better.
Yeah.
And the only way it's going to get better is if you make it better. You can't just wait for it. Get off your ass and do something.
Yeah, I think you have to make a conscious choice, don't you? This is the situation. I feel like it's something between a...
I'm trying not to be a dick in this podcast, can you tell?
You can be a dick, mate.
I'm not being a dick. I just think a lot of people... The thing with mental health and with depression, and a lot of people are going to shoot me down, I think a lot of it these days is a fashion trend.
I agree.
And I think a lot of people only have it because there's celebrity on TikTok that the watch has got it, or says that they've got it. And I think a lot of people don't suffer true.
Yeah,
they're sad. They're upset.
As two people who have been through genuine mental health issues, it does pain me to see when people are sort of their favourite celebrity has it, and then because they're having a bad day, they then associate themselves with that. Or there are people out there who make it an entire personality trait.
Yeah, I have got a story about that.
What I will say is this podcast itself is for the general, the people who are genuinely suffering, who are genuinely going through shit.
And I won't even say that. I'd say for anybody like who thinks they've got it, you probably ain't. You're just sad.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend might cheat on you. Your girlfriend might cheat on you. Who cares? Get off your ass. Get something done. And I'm trying not to be a dick, but that's the only way that I can think of.
Mate, I think a lot of these people need I know I needed a bit of tough love. Because, especially in them times, you can be very self-indulgent. You can sort of play into it yourself and just go, oh, I don't want to do this because it's my anxiety or it's my depression.
Don't get me started about anxiety.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, mate.
No, but that's what people do. They use it as almost a safety barrier. And if you actually want to recover, then you have to push through that barrier and you have to be able to take positive steps. So if we're going to talk about sort of recovery, so could you give us an example of a time where you were feeling like terrible? I'll give an example after as well, and then we'll give an example sort of how we both overcome this stuff.
There's a couple. There's a week specifically, and I can talk about this now because it's past the 6-month period that I've just spoke about beforehand.
Oh yes, Reese's famous NDA is expired.
Yes, so I can talk about it in a sense. For a week, the boss was on holiday. I can't mention his name, obviously, but the boss, everybody who watches this, who knows me, knows who it'll be. Even if he watches it, you'll know who you are. You drink a lot, mate. You got a shit car. He hates it when people say that. It's funny. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. And I know it's leased. Says he buys them. It's leased. I know the fucking, people tell me it's fucking leased. Bullshit. There was a 1 week period where I never looked after the server. Never did. All I looked after were the IT software. So the system that tracked vehicles. I needed to be careful what I'm saying. Tracked vehicles. I looked after all of that. And then I looked after all the other equipment that went in the vehicles. I looked after customer support and insurance claims and police claims or anything like that. Whatever happened, I needed to deal with police, insurance, etc., etc. On a Saturday afternoon, I got a call saying that the server was down. All right. He were away. The gaffer were away. So I got it. Fine. It was nothing but abuse all that week because the server was down, saying, you're fucking useless, you're this, you're that, you're fucking shite, you need to do this, you need to do that, you're fucking crap, everything, you name it. And I've got proof on this, so if he wants to come at me, fucking come at me. I've got the fucking proof. Emails galore in May 2023, I still remember them. Emails galore because things haven't been done. I was the only IT person on that desk. So anything that wasn't done was my responsibility. I took it on chin, but there was that much to do. End of that year, we'd already got 3 people on. So you can imagine how much work I were actually doing beforehand. And so I'd be noticing. So there you go. You can fuck with that. Don't treat me like that. So give me a pair of eyes. Obviously I thought, fuck it. It's promised to be better. No problem. Fast forward last month, 6 months, 7 months ago, 8 months. He rang me up one day and says, I'm coming in office to sort you out. Is that not threatening?
That is a threat.
Do you know what I mean? And people are there. And there's a friend that I know who worked there, who heard it, who said, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to hurt you out like that. Just in case he is, I'm ready. I was pumped. I was like, let's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be, aren't you? Like, adrenaline went, I could feel adrenaline straight away. I'm thinking, fuck, let's go. Let's fucking do this. And at that point, I thought, I don't need this. And do you know what I did? Got up and went, here's my notice. I'm fucking done. Hold yourself accountable. My fault for taking the fucking job in the first place. But do you know what? I made sure that he knew that he was fucking losing a good person who knew what he was doing. And ever since then, your customers are still ringing me. That's all I'm going to say. Fuck them. But you need to pull yourself out of it. Nobody's going to help you. Them people that were in there, I still consider to this day friends. They weren't going to help me because they didn't know they couldn't. It was me who had to do it. It was me who had to do it.
You do have to pull yourself out of these situations. You have to be able to recognise that whether it's your environment or whether it's something you're doing personally is affecting you like this. You need to make a conscious choice to change it, to change your environment, because that comes down to environment, like you said, having a good support system around you. When you've got people who are constantly dragging you down, I know I've had this personally with friends in the past who want to do X and I want to do Y, and they drag you down. You need to be able to be conscious enough to go, no, I'm going to do my thing, instead of just submitting to, oh, this is just shit, this is just what life is, this is just reality. And it's not the case. You are always in control.
You are.
Always.
Yeah, I fully agree. You know, it's difficult. We are sounding like a dick. I'm going to keep saying that because I'm truly trying to be very empathetic and very understanding of people today. And just trying to understand where other people come from, because my views are always extreme for everything.
Yeah, that's because you're passionate, man. Shouldn't apologise for that.
And I think people play at it. This world's about attention.
Yeah, it's an attention economy right now.
Yeah, and people play on it more than they should. When I were going through shit, people had an idea. Nobody knew actually what was going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it'll be all right. I'm all right, chilled. In my own head, I'm like, fuck, I wish I could just fucking... Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
as shit as that sounds, like, fucking... You always think about it, but you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. But it's a weird economy, a weird mental state to be in, where you have to grab yourself literally by the bollocks and go, are you a man or are you a bitch? Like, get up, man.
Yeah.
Like, go to the gym.
I'm not a slave to this. I control this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you named yourself. Get out of it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, just... Are you a... You know, like I always say, every single time something bad's happened, I'm a Morgan, I'll be all right. You know, as daft as I'm a Morgan.
Yeah.
You know, my dad's instilled that into me. My granddad's instilled it into me. Found out my great-granddad were in Africa in World War II. What would he think if I were like, oh, my boss is shouting at me? Fuck off.
I've got bullets flying past my head, lad.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and,
come on.
And that's not to say that anybody's problems, I understand we shouldn't compare, is like, oh, you could
Yes,
have
we
it
should.
loads worse.
Yes, we should.
No, I don't think you should.
Fuck off.
No, I don't. No, this is where me and you are going to disagree, because I don't think you should be able to compare. Because the experience you were going through, for example, I could turn around to you and say,
in fact, do you know what? I actually agree.
Be more of a man and stop letting your boss affect you like that.
Yeah. No, I actually...
You know what I mean?
I'm very emotionally charged right now.
Yeah. It's an emotional episode, mate. It's allowed to happen. It's allowed to happen.
But the way I was going to come about it, like, you can't compare being shot at in Africa to your boss shouting at you.
No, yeah.
Like, there's no. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, the response in the brain is probably similar. I'm not going to say it's exactly, because you're going to die of one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, the probably response in your brain's still danger. It's still shit.
Yeah.
It's not comparable in that sense. That's the argument I was going to bring.
It still triggers the fight or fight, sort of fight or fight.
I just chose
flight or fight.
I chose both within like an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I was already like, fuck it, let's go. But yeah, I can remember that moment when he come into office and he just slandered me, slaughtered me in front of everybody. That moment I was like, I'm fucking done here. And the thing that I did, and the moment I remember, is he weren't listening to me and he says, you're full of shit, Reece. So I turned me back to him. What's the worst thing you could do to a man when he's speaking to you?
Yeah.
Turn you back to him. I thought, I've got no respect for you. Fuck off. And to this day, when I saw him, he bullshitted saying that I was begging to come back. And I was like, I'm not begging to come back. Like, you can fucking suck your own balls, man.
Yeah.
Just remember that it's not as bad as it always seems.
And there's always a way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the easy
I'm
option.
so glad this 6 months over, because I can go ham. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There'll be more in the next episode, trust me.
Yeah.
But,
it's episode 10 next.
Yeah, it is episode 10 next, you're right.
I'll ask the same question to you, mate.
Yeah, it's not similar in the way of, obviously, it was more me than somebody else making me feel that way. So the worst time I had with sort of mental health was around when I went to university and then came home from university for a little while. I was in a situation where I was doing... So when I went to uni, the reason I went to uni was to do a certain subject that I thought I should do. Because what I really wanted to do when I was younger, I couldn't do. Because just not enough talent to make it, or that was my opinion at the time. So I thought, what should I do? So I went to uni to do, and I was almost playing to the character of what I thought I should be in my head, and then wondering why I'd never listen, I'd never live up to it. And I was a very anxious guy, very self-conscious in the way that I used to be, and I just ended up falling down the rabbit hole of getting in with the wrong people. This is where it comes
you
to
always
an
end
environment.
up like that, don't you?
Yeah, end up with the
You're
wrong
the average
people.
of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, 100%. And as much as I had a lot of fun down there, it was sort of because the course I didn't like, and then when I left, because I had to leave for the course reason, but also I was going down a path of sort of no return, the point of no return.
Did you think that? Or were you just like, fuck it, just resign to the fact? Or were it a case of, like, I could help it, but I'm choosing not to?
Yeah, no, I knew what was happening. I knew what was happening. I knew I had to get out. I knew sort of, I can't go into too much detail because it's very incriminating, but I knew sort of thing that what was happening around me and the thoughts I were having in my own head. I knew I needed to get out in that environment. And then where it hit the hardest probably, there was a lot of family stuff going off, but it was more when I came home, having for the first time in my life, having no direction. It was like,
That's a big thing, that, mate.
I had to come back and they were like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? And then for a year or so, it was sort of, I just felt like I was never enough because nothing I ever did turned out the way I thought it was going to turn out, which is very stupid when I look back, because nothing ever turns out the way you think it's supposed to turn out. But at that very young age, it's sort of, there's a lot of expectation on you as a sort of, between the ages of 16 to 19, you get a lot of pressure to go down a certain way. And when you come away from that, like I had family ringing me up when I left uni, like crying on the phone, telling me how disappointed they were in me and things like that. And like that sort of stuff to a 19-year-old kid really can send you over the edge. And what I would say is the one thing that got me through it was one day turning around and just thinking, right, okay, I have this thing, depression, whatever it is. I have a problem in my own head. This is a chemical reaction. My brain is ultimately controlled by chemicals and by what's going off up there. How can I fix it? So this might bring us on quite nicely to what my next question was going to be, what do you think people should look for as solutions to the problem? Because for me personally, to get out of that, like you resigned and you got yourself out of the environment, I did the same. I got myself out of the environment. I was still struggling once I came out of the environment, but I realised sort of, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I feeding this demon, if you will? And what can I stop feeding this demon? And then once you start doing the science and you realise that it's just chemical reactions, you're like, okay, I'm spending way too much time doing X, so I'll do Y instead. I spend too much time on social media, so I'll do this instead. I don't have a purpose in life, I'll do this instead. I could get on so many topics with this about like the difference between how therapy is female-led rather than good for males, and men need a purpose more than they need to talk, etc. Once I found a purpose and a way to come out of that thing, then everything sort of switched into gear. But yeah, it was a crazy time in my life, man. Like I don't recognise myself from back then at all. It was before I met you, ironically. The thing that actually changed me properly was when I met you with boxing. It was the first time in my life I'd proved to myself that if I actually worked hard at something and saw it through all the way, I could achieve it. And that's a massive thing. I would recommend anybody, even if it's to say set small goals. And even though that was a case of 8 weeks, I just had to be committed fully for 8 weeks. And that 8-week sent me on a completely different life path to where I am today. It's achieving that small goal and proving to yourself and getting them small wins in. Yeah, and gradually over time it gets better and better to the point now where I could not give a flying fuck.
Yeah, big things happen. You can't. I think what people do is they dream too big, too early.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't mind. The thing is, I don't know if this is just me. If I start something, I'm always like thinking of the end thing, like, like, you know, with my coaching badges, like I'm getting into it, I'm really enjoying it, I'm loving it. You know, my pathways one, and you know, UA for C and all that. But I'm instantly thinking like, I wonder if I could be head coach at Barnsley. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know it's not going to happen. And if it did, fuck, that'd be immense.
Yeah.
But I know that it wouldn't. It's, you know, I'm dreaming big too early. I'm setting myself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
I don't mean that people can't dream big. Be realistic at the beginning and see where it takes you.
Yeah, that's a big thing. People they'll set a massive goal, like myself, for example. Set a massive goal. Okay, I want to become a professional musician. I want to work in the music field.
Yeah.
That 3 years later, I'm just now starting to make money out of it. But for that first year, you're like, why isn't this working? Because you see success and you think it's going to happen instantaneously. It's until if you set the small goals, okay, I want to achieve this, like with this podcast, like let's get to 10 episodes, see where we are. We're not saying that, okay, overnight we're going to be the biggest podcast in the world and rival Joe Rogan. It's not going to happen overnight.
Overnight.
Yeah, and if we were judging, but this is the
Can
thing.
you imagine in 10 years and we're just like, oh, welcome to the All You Can Talk. Today we've got Joe Rogan. And we'd just be like, oh, erection.
Could happen, man.
You never know.
But this is the thing, though, isn't it? It's like if we were if we were judging ourselves off of that, then we'd be so disheartened as where we are right now. But because we recognise, because we've been through situations like this before, okay, let's get to 10 episodes, we'll see where we are. We're quite happy with where we are as a podcast right now. And it's the same in life. If you go to the gym to get slim, don't expect it to happen overnight. Fuck it, end of the day,
Fucking do I know about it.
The
comments know about it
Take
and all.
proud in the fact that you've knocked a pound off. If you're losing fat, take proud out of the fact that you can now see a line on your arm. Like, you know.
Wait, there's a big thing, right? Fucking stretch marks.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, fucking come on, I'm getting bigger. See, with that, I'm getting fatter.
So you're definitely getting fat.
Self-deprecating, I am.
Like in men's mental health, I'm just ripping into you, you fat ugly cunt.
Do you know what? Fucking, I'm gonna hang myself now. So when you come upstairs for the next pod, and you're like, where is it? And there's just swinging front floor. We're not getting that dark.
I like the idea of your lasses.
Hang on.
It's just been leaving you hanging from the ceiling for 3 days.
You can't. She's working away, so she won't find it. So anyway, you can't like me saying, "Oh, I'm Rangmisten," and be hanging off loft, and then you'd be like, "I like the idea of." You can't start your next sentence with that. Do you know when I said I have good friends around you at the beginning?
Well, this comes on to a good point, actually.
Fuck off! No, it doesn't.
No, it does.
I'm
right?
joking.
Because the difference
Take the piss out of each
the
other.
difference between the way men and women deal with, because this is men's mental health we're talking about, not just general mental health.
Oh, women's is all different.
The way men, because I read a study, and it was that women, when they talk about a problem, the problem is actually halved for them. They feel like they've half solved it. For men, it actually is the other way around. When they talk about a problem, they feel like it's been doubled. It's more taking the action for men. So, like, for example, we can take the absolute piss out of each other and it'll make us feel better because we're blokes. If a woman did that, they'd be crying.
Oh, don't get me started.
If I called a girl fucking a fat ugly cunt, I'd get lynched. But like with you, you're just like, fuck off, Uncle. You know what I mean? It's the difference between men and women and how we do it.
Your mum sells Avon.
Avon, Carlin.
Oh, fun times.
It's gone from your mum sells Avon to your mum's on OnlyFans now, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. No, we're not even going to start that topic.
No, but that's what the kids are saying now, because they can't say Avon
in fact,
anymore.
do you know what? That's a good question. Do you think the rise in OnlyFans will see depression in women rise in the next 20 years?
I think in men as well.
Yeah.
Because, let me get onto this, I think people as well aren't happy because a lot of people say, oh, it's very difficult. I'm sad because nobody wants me. It's like, well, I feel a lot now with social media, OnlyFans, porn, things like that. I think people's expectations of what they can get, and I know this sounds, people are going to be like, oh, you can get whatever you want. You can't. Right, we have leaks for a reason. It's fucking...
You're not going to see Port Vale getting Man United, are you?
Port Vale aren't pulling Man United. Or, well, pulling... Who should we talk about now?
I've
Liverpool.
got a leading question that I want to join into this.
But yeah, so like I think that's another thing, because people's idea of who they should be with is inflated and they're looking at the wrong things.
Oh, yeah, I doubt.
So it's like, why don't I have that rather than being grateful for what, you know, the opportunities you do have or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? Did you see the recent news that Tinder are adding height preferences?
Yeah, it's over for the short kings, isn't it? It's absolutely
mate,
over for them.
You know, when are we going? I'm not even going to say it because I know I'll get a lot of fucking.
I'll say it. Let's put a weight fucking
Thank
filter
you.
on there.
I'm glad it's not just me being viral on this podcast.
No, I'll quite happily say it, because it's a double standard.
Yeah, it is a double
Thing
standard.
is, I never judge. I do judge fat people, but I'll never. But I'll never judge someone because they're small or big, whatever. But like for me, if you're gonna do it for one reason, because as guys we don't really tend to care how tall you are, to be honest. As long as we don't feel like we're on a walk with his mum, we couldn't give a fuck. Like, you know, whereas it is a very female-led thing for that, and that could lead to a lot of issues for men in general. Like, I've seen guys now are wearing like fucking heels practically.
Yeah.
Like they've got insoles that are like, you know, make them 3 inches taller. I'm like, bro, you're the same laid down, like. But yeah, I think
like
that there definitely is a double standard. It's good you said that, because there's a double standard between, not even just in the dating field. I think when it comes to mental health, when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes from male to female, there is definitely a double standard in the way we talk.
Massive.
I think the whole, I read that the whole therapy is designed for the female mind.
Yes, it is.
It's not designed for the male mind.
No. I've never been to therapy.
Neither have I.
I've never considered it. I know people have gone and they say it's the biggest waste of time ever. My theory behind it, they're paid by the hour. They need you to keep coming. They keep talking. The best thing for me is to stop talking about problems and just action something. If it needs to be actioned, action it.
Right, so
if it doesn't, if there's no I can do, stop worrying about it.
You'll like this. So, when they ran a study, because they were at this particular university, and I'm not going to go into major detail because I will get a few things wrong. But what I will say is this.
Oh, I've got loads wrong.
Yeah.
Comments apparently all the time.
They did a study on a group of men and a group of women. They put them through therapy, and they put them through various different things to help their mental health, to study what the differences were. Now, to give you a bit of background, the whole therapy system is designed off of Freud's model. There is another psychologist who we should have gone down, I can't remember his name. The Freud model is everything that's wrong with you is because of your childhood and because of your past. The other model is it's not about your past, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's about what steps can you take in the future to better your life. The reason therapy went down the Freud model was because to charge by the hour, it's a lot easier to keep people coming back when they're constantly bringing up past trauma and constantly bringing up what, because the therapist can turn around and go, well, what about your dad? How did he treat you? What about this? That I feel like that's a bit, and you can keep dwelling up the past. And what they found the difference between men and women was, like I said, with women, when a problem's talked about, it's a problem halved. With men, they found if you give him a purpose, it doesn't need to talk about his problems. You just give that man a purpose, he will crawl through broken glass naked to achieve it.
That's why I've said in schools, boys and girls should be treated differently. Massively differently. You see the boys playing up, ask them what they want to do. Yeah. Do they want to go bricklaying? Do they want to do this? Put them on a course. Give them something to...
I don't think we should be locking kids inside and telling little men inside and say, sit down, shut up, pay attention.
No, exactly.
No kid under the age of 16 wants to do that.
No, they don't. They don't. I've always said that, for me, you need to give them something to do. They don't want to learn about fucking science. They don't want to do biology and chemistry and physics. We need scientists, granted. We need, intelligent people. They're not going to be that. They don't want to do that. All they want to do is maybe be like the dad who works on roads.
Yeah.
Not a problem with that. We need people like that.
Yeah, of course.
Give them a purpose. Give them that to do, because they're just going to turn into a dickhead, essentially.
Yeah. Do you feel now with the way that things are, because obviously things are overinflated in terms of especially the expectations on men. So like, for example, this comes from women, but this comes from society as well, of where now it's very hard to know what you're actually supposed to do to be a man if you follow all the guidelines that are set out. It's completely contradictory. So I'll use the women thing and the dating thing just as an example of like, you're supposed to be the protector and provider, but I am equal for you. You have to pay for all the meals, but I'm not going to do the other side. Or
the nasty.
Not even the nasty, but like...
Clean the dish.
Yeah, other side, etc.
The traditional values that...
Yeah,
the
like
majority
holding a
of men
door
do.
open now is misogynistic.
I got called that.
Yeah.
I got called loads of names under the sun for calling a girl sweetheart. And I didn't say it nastily. I didn't say it condescendingly. I just says, no worries, cheers, sweetheart, thank you. What?
Yeah.
You're telling me I'm wrong.
Mm.
Like, I get it, because a lot of people are dickheads and be like, oh, sorry, sweetheart. You know, like proper condescending
Yeah,
tone.
of course, yeah.
But like, it's an endearing term for me. I've never used it in I probably have. I can't say that I haven't been misogynist. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do this,
I'll
mate.
say that a similar thing happened to me. So this was even back when I was at uni. This before like all this stuff was a big thing. I was in a bar in Peppermint and I said, "Oh, cheers, love," because we're from Yorkshire. She
Yeah,
gives us
cheers,
drink.
love.
I said, "Cheers, love." I'm not a love.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What are you on about?" Like, I'm from Yorkshire. I'm like, I call blokes love. Like,
Sorry, whale.
yeah, but yeah, we need to. What for me, being a man hasn't changed. It's still protect. It's still provide for the people you love. It still have a purpose. It's still, work towards your goals and create a good life, create a kingdom for yourself. Just have a vision of what you want to achieve and walk towards it. To praying you're going in the right direction, and you'll end up somewhere near.
Yeah.
And that'll feel, because you are making them steps every day. Even the hard days become worth it for that little bit of 5% of success that you may have in the future. So,
yeah, it's as simple as that, mate. You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I'm never. Yeah, I'm trying to lead it away from the therapy bit, but I think the exact same. You can't keep bringing up problems.
Yeah, pastoral. Yeah.
Because it's gonna stay ingrained in your head.
Yeah, you constantly
they say you're sad for like, is it like 12 minutes, and then anything after that is self.
So, yeah. The only thing I'd probably disagree with that on, I'm not disagreeing with you, but the only thing I'd probably say was worthy being sad for longer than 12 minutes is probably grief. When you lose someone, that's the only time. But yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we use this too much. I'm anxious. No, you're not. You're worried. It's my anxiety. No, you're allowed to be worried about something.
The big one
you're
for
allowed
me
to be sad about something. You know what I mean?
The big one for me is stress. Right. I used to be I'm stressed all the time. Right.
It's a good thing.
Until this is somebody said this to me, and I was like, shit. When you think about it, it's true. A bloke said to me, he says, the only reason you're stressed is because there's something you haven't done that you can do something about, and it's lingering in your mind. And when he told me that, I'm like, yeah, the shit I ain't done that I need to do, and that's stressing me out.
Yeah.
And he says, if you've done everything, why would you be stressing? What is there to be stressed about? And I'm thinking like, he says, what do you need to do? And I'm like, get shit done.
Get it done.
And I'm like, fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always stressing. And now I'm just like, shit that needs to be done. I know it needs to be done. I'm less stressed. You know, it's one of them. Or it's either that, or you've told a lie to somebody that you need to cover up for a long time, and you're just not gonna. You're stressing over something that's stupid. You can solve it by telling the truth, or you can. I get what I'm trying. I know what I'm trying to say.
See, what you're trying to say is brilliant, to be fair, because it's taking on that own responsibility.
Yeah.
So a lot of things I see people, and I used to do this, and people around me used to do this when they've been going through mental health problems, is, but if this didn't happen to me, then this wouldn't be a problem. Instead of going, this happened, I'm going to do this to fix it. It's my responsibility, let me fix it. Yeah. If you're constantly thinking externally, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, well, what are you going to do about it? You can't just let that affect you and say, that's life, or crap, my girlfriend left me, so now I'm going to be alone forever. No, get your ass out there again.
Yeah.
You know,
I call that the chicken and rice method, mate. If you've been with your girlfriend for like 2 or 3 years, 4 years, chicken and rice, isn't it? You've been regulated to chicken and rice for the last few years. Now you've got a fucking all-you-can-fuck buffet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's putting the positive spin on it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got pizza, you've got tacos. Get out there, enjoy variety. Do you know what I mean?
Can I personally recommend the grios?
A gyro.
A gyro. Well, that's why I said grios.
Lamb korma. Oh, lamb korma. Oh, that's I've just had a curry.
People at home now are not going to know whether we're talking innuendo for the countries these meals come from, or whether we're actually just hungry.
Going to Bradford, Poppadoms.
So if I was to ask you then, what would be one or two main bullet points of advice you would give to men in general to be able to get themselves out of whatever situation they're in right now?
Stop being a bitch.
That's a good one.
And go to the gym.
Yeah.
Get yourself sorted in that sense. And eat right. Sort your physical health out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that are depressed or sad or upset are generally overweight. They haven't got much going on. All they do is sit at home, play FIFA, play Xbox, play PS5. You know, get something. You don't necessarily have to have a purpose. Just go in the gym and do half an hour on treadmill. And then just say to yourself, right, next week I'm going to do 40 minutes on treadmill. Or I'm going to add a mile to what I did last week. Do something like that. And number 2, get your environment right. And I don't just mean your people around you. I mean, if you live, clean your house. Because you'd be surprised how much that makes you feel shit.
They say, don't they, a man's bedroom or a man's car is a window into how messy his mind is.
Yeah, should see my bedroom, mate. That's only because I've been doing cleaning up today.
yeah.
I've been doing it, wash it. Do you know when you just chuck them up bed like, "I fucking fold them later," knowing full well I'll not fold them later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But and then number 3, and this is massive. Write everything down that you're worried about or you think you're depressed about. Write it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then have another column next to it. Just put a comment or something saying, can I resolve, or something like that. Add that column. And if it's a yes, write another comment outside of it, what you need to do. And I call it an action comment.
Yeah.
And if it's a no, why the fuck are you worried about it? And if it's a yes, fucking deal with it.
Yeah. And when you do this exercise, you'll actually realise how many problems you have that you have no control over. So you shouldn't worry about, and how many things you can very easily fix.
Yes.
When you were talking about food, video games, gym, look at what you're putting into your body, right? Because putting things into your body, yes, food is very important, because obviously the chemicals that are in a lot of food nowadays can have a negative effect on you. They can make you more feminine through, estrogen. Estrogen's in a lot of food nowadays. A lot of food and drink, like energy drinks, which I'm a bastard for, suppress your testosterone as a man. Also, by feeding yourself, we don't just mean food. We mean, what content are you watching? If you're spending all day on video games, you're overdosing on dopamine effectively. So your dopamine regulation is going to be wrong.
I've actually got another to add to this.
Yeah. No, you can go for it.
Social media. Yeah. Get off it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Everything. Delete it. I can remember when I did a year off it, and I come back and I was like, yeah, there's still a post on my Facebook. I've deleted Facebook again. But there's a post on there that says, I haven't been on this in 2 years, still shite.
Yeah.
And it was liked by everybody. And I was thinking, all these people are stuck in the same perpetual cycle, going on Facebook to see a reel, before you know it's bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's scary.
Yeah, and it's what it's feeding you as well. Because you'll notice on Facebook, Instagram and things like that, it tends to, especially when it finds people who are, because it's incredibly good at targeting, especially when it finds people like the people who are suffering, it's going to feed that suffer, because you know it's addictive. So they're going to keep feeding that to you, whether it's a hate for women, whether it's a hate for yourself, whether it's your anxiety. It'll even make you laugh about it, but it'll keep it going in there. So I personally did the same as you. I don't have any personal social medias. I have one personal social media, and all the posts on it are just linked from my music Instagram. That
or the
is
podcast
it.
that everybody comments on.
Yeah, and the podcast. But that is it. And since I made that change of not having personal social media, my mental health and life has got so much better.
Yeah, it's mint.
I've
got like 3 Instagrams, and they're all for work or.
Yeah.
I put a post up the other day, and it says, as a man, sometimes you've just gotta. I've had 2 or 3 messages asking what it's about. I know what it's for. No cunt else does. Do you know what I mean? I know what it's going to be, and people have got to wait. And it's not like, oh, look at the big I am. It's for me. Nobody else. I don't give a fuck about anybody else in that sense. It's for my Instagram. And if people watch it, fine, when it's out, but who cares? It's not for them.
Yeah.
For me to just be on a journey that, you've got to ride the wave that is life, mate. And I'm living it.
No, 100%. This comes back. I think we should finish this episode on this point before we tell people about the various options they can go to get help. I read something the other day, and I watched this video from this philosopher, and he said one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. Life was never meant to be understood, it was meant to be felt. So stop trying to understand everything.
Yeah.
Stop trying to work everything out. You're meant to feel sad, you're meant to feel happy, you're meant to feel love, you're meant to feel heartbreak. Don't let any of them keep you down. Just feel it. Ride the wave as we go through life.
That's it. Ride the roller coaster that is life.
Ride the roller coaster. If you need any help, I know a couple of charities I could recommend to you. Mind is an amazing one for men.
Big shout out to Andy Whitehead for that.
Yeah, he set it up in Barnsley, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a legend.
It's countrywide now, isn't it?
I love him to bits, honestly.
I think my mum actually helped him build that.
Yeah.
From her school.
I love him to bits. I know it sounds proper, but I can remember when he was talking about it. I did the gig at Barnsley Live, and it was sponsored by Mind, and it was for Mind, and I was like, fair enough, mate. I like that.
Also, there's Andy's Man Club. Sorry, that's the one my mum helped set up.
Yeah.
Andy's Man Club as well. That's a big one. If you need to, they run in all cities pretty much in the UK now. Just sessions where you can go down and just talk to a lot of other blokes. And you don't have to talk about your problems or anything like that. You can just go down and have a chat with people who's all going through the same shit as you. And you can find comfort in that. There's plenty of other charities. We'll put them in the description.
Yeah. One big thing for me, mate, the Bible.
Yes, the one thing we haven't talked about, which we should have done all podcast, is find God.
Yeah, I always say, God will not calm the storm, but it will help keep you calm in it. Simple as that.
I'll keep this short, but since I found God, and then one day consciously when I was worried about stuff, and I go, you know what, I'll give it to you, I trust you.
Surrender.
Since that day, so many good things have started happening to me, and I've felt so much more comfortable in life. So, yeah. Well, I think, Reese, that is Ben's Mental Health Special.
It is.
Yeah, we went on a deep dive into all various things.
I'm feeling a bit...
Yeah, we're feeling good. The next episode will be a bit more like what you're used to.
Oh, get ready.
We've got to throw one in there every now and then, since it's the 10th episode, the next one. And I have been Key5. This has been Reese Morgan. You can find us at AYCT Official on all social medias, pretty much. You can also search the All You Can Talk podcast on YouTube, and you'll be able to find all of our episodes. You can go and watch back from the beginning when we were shit to where we are now.
Still shit.
Slightly less. And keep your head up high. We're all bros under God. Look after yourselves, look after your mates. Yeah.